sixth commit, and we're on the seventh one, but there's nothing here yet. And it's important to note that this is actually a much fewer number of commits than I would have on a project where I'd written this much code. I should probably have twice as many commits, maybe 2.5 times as many commits. And that's because I've added a couple things for each commit, and that's bad practice. You should be making a commit every change, but I've been slowing down, I think, because of the video. So anyway, looking back at our HTML file, what remains for us to do is we need to add some content to the gallery. We need to add some code to the footer. And if you remember, we opened a nav element at the top called top nav, and we never did anything with that. So we're going to add that in now as well. Finally, the design is still quite hideous, so we will be looking at some ways we can improve the visual appearance in some basic ways as well. So let's get started. The gallery section is going to consist of a series of images. These images are located off in my project folder. You can see them here. They're called Deck 1 through 4, respectively. And accordingly, my gallery section is going to have 4 images in it. Looking back at my display, I don't know if you can see this here. I'll make sure you can by shrinking the browser window. There's really nothing below this final section. That is different than the other sections because these all have bottom borders, and we never added one for this section. If you look back into the style guidelines, that is the resources section, and we just have display inline block. So it may be smart to add a bottom border there, but we're going to hold off for a second because I remember typing that same border bottom earlier. Yes, I did. In fact, it's right there. So now we're typing border bottom twice, and we look to be typing it a third time by adding it to the resources section. And when you notice yourself typing the same line of code over and over, that means you're doing it inefficiently. And so there's a better way to declare that. And I'm going to remove the border bottom from each instance, copying it first so I have it in my clipboard. And I'm going to add it in such a way that it affects all the sections, and that way it will now appear at the bottom of all the sections I have, as well as any new sections that I create. So you can see now there's a bottom border there. I have a few other things to attend to as well. Looking back at my code, I really kind of structured this section, the description section, poorly. And it's going to cause me problems later. For instance, if I wanted to add a heading to this section, that would create an issue. There's a simple solution for this. I'm going to take the class of descriptive text and I'm going to take it off the P element. It really shouldn't have been on there. I'm going to create a div element and paste that class in. And then I'm going to close that div element directly after the P. And I've sort of wrapped the P element in a div. And oops, sometimes as sometimes happens, I need to correct my indentation. So I'll save those changes there. And looking at descript text, that's just the class, so it's no problem that I've moved my class up one level. That actually is going to work out better for us later, because I would like to add a heading here as an H2, and we'll call this the general description. All right, taking a look at my repo, I can see I've made some changes to corrected border bottom and corrected paragraph issue. So corrects border and div issue. We'll commit that to the master.